Well, what is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to A Therapeutic Edge. Today on the table in front of us, we've got something new from the folks over at Monterey Bay Knives. This is the EZC 1.5. Now, the original EZC was all titanium, M390 running on bearings. This, of course, is Women Carry Knives version of the EZC. This has been anoded just beautifully by Microphone the Knife over on Instagram. I mean, look at that. But this was the original. Then the 2.0 came out, and the 2.0 was an integral. This has a separate backspacer. Was an integral design, which they then enlarged to the XLC, which is mine here. One piece, milled out titanium, right? Very similar blade shape. Now the 1.5 is back to not being integral, but it is all carbon fiber, including the backspacer with this lovely titanium clip. It's just sort of an evolution, if you will, in the design aesthetic. And you can clearly see Laconico's design aesthetic through all of this stuff. But these are some of my favorite knives in the world. They really are. And it's not just because Ray Laconico is a super nice guy, although he is. And it's not just because the folks over at Monterey Bay Knives are super cool, but they are. It's because this is one of those design aesthetic sort of choices made by Ray Laconico and the folks over at MBK that make these knives both beautiful and exceptionally useful. Now, I like a bigger knife, and one of the reasons I like a bigger knife is because it's hard for me to get my hand comfortably on small knives. I don't really have a good example. Well, here's a little tiny knife. This is a knife by a company called American Buffalo Knife and Tool, ABKT. And while this is a cool looking little knife, you know, it's 2.5 fingers for me, right? It is a little smaller than our friends here, but the design of this handle is very limiting for someone with my hands my size. Laconico just punched that right out the window with this incredibly lean and straightforward handle design. It means that while the original EZC and the 1.5 are basically 3-finger knives for me, man, I lock into this thing so comfortably and so well, both of these, that it doesn't matter that it's small. It's still an exceptionally good user for me, which makes, particularly in carbon fiber, the 1.5 here, a remarkable gentleman's carry for me. It's very lightweight. I could drop it straight into lightweight shorts. Not doing a lot of that right now in the winter, but I could. It's just a fantastic design. And because the new one, all carbon fiber, is, as you can see, a liner lock with about 35% lockup. It's pretty good. It's completely, well, it's just very smooth and beautiful all the way around, right? There's no interruption, right? On a frame lock, you get this interruption of the design because of the lock bar. On a liner lock, you don't get that. I think I would have liked it if they'd have put this milled, as they've milled out a groove here so that it matches, right, all of its siblings. I think I would have liked it if they'd have put that on the lock side as well, but it's okay without it, and it does mean that it slips in and out of pocket ridiculously well. Now, it does share the pocket clip with the XLC here, which I think is a very nice touch. Look, this is just a fantastic knife. Now, one thing I noticed they have changed is that I don't think it's a free spinning pivot anymore. I haven't taken it apart. I could be wrong, but it looks to me, since there's just a driver side on a show side, basically, it looks to me as though they may have done away with the free spinning pivot, which would be very, very cool. I'll take it apart and find out, just not today. Now, this thing does have full liners. They run the entire length of the knife on the inside here. You can't see them, but they're milled out really well. So even though there are full steel liners running the length of the knife, it's still very light. You know, I mean, obviously by comparison to its full tie cousin here, it's exceptionally light. Let's find out how light. All right, let's move that. Get that on the table, zero it out. All right, so by way of comparison, the original here is 3.1 ounces, which is very lightweight, even for full titanium, but for a 3-inch blade. And our new carbon fiber cousin is 2.3 ounces. And that puts it within spitting distance of everybody's favorite ultralight, right? So it's half an ounce heavier than the Bug Out. And for that half ounce, you get, well, M390. You know, the Bug Out's a little bigger, for sure. But, man, if you were looking for a lightweight, great cutter, and, of course, these Laconico blades, you know, that shape just slices like, well, like you'd want it to. It really does. I love these things. So, you know, where were we? We were 2.3 ounces. This is a very lightweight knife. Very easy to carry. The action is superb. Listen to that snap. In and out of the pocket really, really well because of this nice titanium clip. I think the 1.5 is an absolute win. Now, unfortunately, one of the side effects of Monterey Bay Knives being a small company is that they tend to produce things in batches. We don't need no stinking batches. That means that at the time that this video comes out, these may or may not be available, but they do release more, right? Especially if the knife is very popular. So if you missed this first time around, chances are you will be able to get one down the road, and or you will be able to find one on the secondary market. If that, of course, is your interest and your drive, I very much hope that you do so. I really love this thing. Let's go ahead and get some basic specs out of the way. I think I mentioned some of it. All right, so we have a 3-inch blade. 1, 2, 3 inches of M390 and 2 3/4 cutting, right? See, a little over 2 3/4 of cutting because they notched out a little bit for the sharpening choil. The grip area from behind the flipper tab is 1 to 3.5 inches to the back. So look, because the shape of the handle, I can just really lock onto that thing. But in any grip, right, this is exceptionally comfortable. In the closed position, we are looking at 1, 2, 3, just under 4 inches overall. And of course, the real showpiece, right, is that closed, not including the flipper tab, we come in actually just under an inch from edge to edge. With the flipper tab, you're coming in at about 1 1/4 inches. Now, as with all due respect to Nick Shabazz, this is a little bit of a pocket pecker, but everything is knocked down. By which I mean there are no sharp edges anywhere on this knife except, God, I love that sound, right where you want it. So even if this does bang into something in your pocket, there's nothing sharp on here to do anything damage to anything. So that's it. This is the 1.5. I think it's a fantastic knife, but then I'm a little biased because I love this Laconico design. If you do too, this may very well be a knife for you. And if you don't, well, then it probably isn't. But if you haven't had a chance to give this shape a shot, I recommend that you do so because I think it is fantastic from the ground up. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. This has been, as always, absolutely my pleasure to bring this to you. If you have any questions about this or any of my knives, feel free to ask down in the comments below. I think that'll do it for now, guys. We'll see you next time. Take care.